Now that you've decided to launch a marksman boot camp, you need to take the necessary steps leading up to the launch of the boot camp. Now, typically we recommend that you start your pre-launch checklist 10 to 15 weeks prior to the launch of your boot camp. That doesn't mean you have to be 10 to 15 weeks out, but 10 to 15 weeks gives you an adequate runway to make sure you're fully prepared on launching a boot camp. Now, below this training video, I'm going to break down for you exactly what you need to do 10 to 15 weeks out, and then 8 to 9 weeks out, 5 to 7 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, the day before you launch, the day that you launch. Now, perhaps some of the things are not relevant to you, but I would strongly recommend that you go through that whole checklist and make sure that you're adequately prepared to launch your boot camp in your area. The last thing you want to do is be scrambling around trying to figure out what you're doing while there's men in the room ready to be poured into. Please, for your sake, for the reputation of marksmen, for the reputation of God, for your own reputation, please put in the preparation necessary before launching the boot camp. Check out the checklist below on this page to make sure you're prepared and ready to roll out effectively. One of the biggest things that I want to draw attention to is the necessity of having trained SWAT leaders facilitate marksmen. Marksman is not intended to be taught by men who have never gone through marksman before. So as a SWAT leader that's gone through marksman before, I would rather you plus maybe one other SWAT member lead 5 to 7 other men. Do not attempt to have one person leading 15, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 men. You will shoot yourself in the foot. The secret sauce to marksman is the discussion in the brotherhood. Marksman is not intended to be taught from a stadium or from a stage where men are not interacting with each other. So maintain a 1 or 2 ratio for every 4 or 5 students. That means a table or a group or a flight or a batch of men should never be more than 5 to 7 men in any single discussion. This is of utmost importance. I wouldn't even make a ratio of 1 to 7 students. So that means if you're planning on launching a marksman boot camp and you're the only person that you know that's graduated from a marksman boot camp, you're not starting with 20 people. You're starting with 4 or 5. Once those 4 or 5 graduate from a boot camp, then pick the cream of the crop and invite this guy or this guy, the guys that really leaned in, the guys that really got something out of it, and invite them to help you lead another batch. So let's say you've gone from 1 to 3 leaders. Now you can multiply those 3 times 5 students, and now you've got 15 more men that you can put through. And then you pull leaders from those groups as well. And from the 15, maybe you get another 5 leaders. Now you're able to scale and you're able to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. The biggest mistake that I see men making is trying to scale from the very beginning, going from 1 SWAT member to 20 or 30 or 50 men. Don't do that. You will not have effective results, and you will not be leading marksmen the way it's intended to be led. If you start off small, quality is more important than quantity when it comes to leading and facilitating marksmen. Be okay starting off small, just like Jesus did, and then you can expand and expand and expand and expand from there. So all that being said, go through the pre-launch checklist, make sure you've got your leaders, and make sure you've got everything else ready to go before you launch. So when you launch, you know exactly what you're doing, you're prepared, and you're ready to lead these men well.